Welcome to the Mamaprenista's Manifesto, how to build a coaching business as a mom without being on social media all day. So this is part of a series I'm building called the Mamaprenista Manifesto, and this is the first video. So whether you've been watching this and it just uploaded or this is in the future, I just want to let you know there is more information that's coming. I also put it through my coaching practice and through social media. So my most recent ideas that come to me usually are on Threads and Instagram. So if you're not yet following me, you may want to do that. If you're just brand new to me and you've never heard of me before, my name is Carly Bonderud and I'm the Sovereign Birth Queen. I'm also the Mamaprenista who built a business that's basically a sovereign business. And I'll tell you more about that as we get through this training. But what you really need to know is that I have a way for you to learn more about me. And all you have to do is go to Google and ask the AI, who is Carly Bonderud and what is she known for in the birth and business spaces? And it will tell you more about who I am. Rather than get bogged down with a whole bunch of bio on who I am, I just want to get to the chase. And I'm also going to be sharing with you the meta version, which is basically going and seeing outside of just the teaching itself, but also how I'm doing the presentation. So if you're a Mamaprenista and you have a business or you want to start a business, then I'm giving you an example right here in how I'm running this training. I've decided that rather than doing my usual face videos, I wanted to show up showing you that you can just hide behind the camera. You don't have to show your face. You don't have to be polished. You can just show up with a bunch of slides and you can do presentations like this. And I'm also going to let you know the reason why I put this on YouTube is so that it will feed through the AI, because Gemini picks it up right away and it'll go through Google. And this training can also be summarized. You can go through the transcript and you can ask the video questions. So if you are short on time, then what you can do is you can check the summary and ask to know more about what the video is teaching you. And it will give you a nice little summary because Google is really nice about that and Gemini is awesome. So you go through Gemini and you ask questions and you can get a little bit more out of this presentation. I want you to know about this feature because I also am an AI coach. I do teach AI in my businesses, and I want you to also be comfortable using the AI feature to ask questions before you ask me. Now, there comes a point in the presentations where you may have questions that the video doesn't answer already. There is other content that I've created, and of course, there are programs that I'm creating, and there's coaching that I do. So I have ideas already out there. And if you reach out to me by DM or email, then what you're going to be able to do is access what I call the Alice codes. Now, the Alice codes, I'll tell you a little bit more about later. But first, what you really need to know is it helps open up the chat bot so that you're able to go into Google and find something. Or instead of giving you an Alice code, I could just give you the video. If I already have a video created on it and it's not to the point where you need to watch multiple videos to get the gist of the training, then what this is going to allow you to do is, again, speed things up. I know you're a mom. I know you have a lot on your plate. You probably have kids in the background that are screaming and you can't really watch this video. You don't have the time. It's okay. I just want to let you know it's okay. If you can't watch the full presentation right now, then get the summary. And if you really want to understand this, you can also read the transcript. It's available for you. Sometimes they make little typo mistakes, but you can get the gist of it. And if you have any questions, my door is always open. The door is open for you to DM me or email me on my social media, and I will respond. I will support you because I built my business a certain way, and I'm going to tell you more about the time and freedom in this presentation, because there's 5 freedoms you need to have in your business to have a sovereign business. And there's also a treadmill that you may be currently on that is building yourself a cage and a job rather than a freedom business. Okay? So this is how to build a coaching business as a mom without being on social media all day. I built this as a way to free up my time because I didn't want to be glued to my phone. And this is how I'm able to show up. So I run all my content a certain way. I also have done things in the past the way that you're taught to do it. So I know all of those traps. And if you also reach out to me, I do have actual documents, like things I've written, reports that tell you more about those mistakes. So that is also available to you. I'm not going to get too much into all of my content that I have, all of my programs, all of my resources, because what I really want you to understand is just the basic idea of what I'm going to be creating of the Mamaprenista's Manifesto. So I basically came to this idea because the labor market can essentially say, we need you to be available whenever we need you. Motherhood says, I cannot promise that. Entrepreneurship gives us the ability to construct something around our actual life. But the problem is most mainstream advice out there doesn't work for moms. So I ran into this issue way back when I was just raising my babies. I wanted to stay home with my kids, but I also wanted to do something with my life. I didn't just want to stay at home. I wanted to have some freedom and income. There was also an issue with my partner. I'm not going to get into that in this presentation. You can always learn more about that through Google. It is out there. I'm writing it in my book, No More Mommy Martyr, which isn't out yet. It's in the revision stages. But if you're watching this in the future, it's probably already on the shelves. So essentially what I wanted was to be able to attend my kids' events. It was really important to me that I was there for assemblies. It was important for me to be there when my kids were presenting things. It was important for me to be there for teacher interviews. It was important for me to be there for games, like rugby games, soccer games, whatever my kids ended up wanting to be in. I wanted to be there. I wanted to not miss things. I didn't want to miss their childhood. So for me, when I was looking at the option of going back to work, I knew I wanted a flexible job. And then I recognized that there really is no such thing. You always have to make sacrifices. There's a lot of working moms out there and they make sacrifices. That's why as Mamaprenistas, we really want to just quit our jobs and do our business, right? That's why we built it in the first place. But here's the thing, is that most business advice out there, while it's not always wrong, it doesn't serve moms. You're glued to your phone. So the problem obviously isn't that moms don't want to work. Yes, we do. We want to have that meaning in our life. But the problem is that traditional models of work and the traditional models of online entrepreneurship often demand something motherhood makes difficult: constant availability. I can talk about the fact that I had a scheduling system. I had a Calendly link, and people would often find it and then they would book a call. And I would have to rearrange my entire schedule, hoping that I would be able to make that call. And it was really difficult for me to plan ahead because the schools would have different days where they had different events, and they had Pro D days that sometimes fell in the middle of the week, and then they'd have a holiday 2 weeks in the spring times, 2 weeks in the winter, 2 months in the summer. And just, it was really difficult to have a schedule that constantly was predictable. I would have had to constantly go into my Calendly link, and I did. I went into my Calendly quite often to try to change things around to predict availability. But there is no predicting availability when you're a mom, because There's been times where I was serving a client and suddenly my kid got sick right in the middle of that call. And she was a mom too. She had 3 boys. Actually, she had 2 and then she had 1 on the way. And then she knew, she got it. She understood. She's like, no, you go take care of that. He just spit up his entire spaghetti on the floor. He's sick. Go take care of your little boy and we'll follow up next week. I've got what I needed from this coaching call. So when you have that unpredictability in your life as a mom, the idea of constant availability in your business becomes an issue. And so what I've really done is I've created an ability for me to, if you send me a DM, for instance, and you ask a question, I can answer that question in my own time, which is usually later on in the day or sometimes right away. And I can redirect you to a resource within my libraries or book a call, depending on where you're at in the journey. And what we can really do, and I'm going to be showing more about this in this presentation, is we can create that ability for other people to come to us rather than we go out and chase them. Because you don't want to be glued to your phone, okay? And you don't want to miss your child's life. And you don't want to be stuck in a job that you can't get out of. So what if you didn't have to choose between being available to your children and building an economically viable business? See, the problem with the always on business, and I already kind of touched on this, is that you have to be completely available to your clients and to your prospects no matter what. And what I've really built is a way, and I kind of mentioned it already, where you can go to Google and you can actually ask questions in Google about who I am, what my methodology is, what my products and services are, what things I've already created, what my ecosystem is, how it serves you. And Google can actually serve as the coaching bot. It can tell you my methodology. It can tell you how I work. It can tell you how to get on my list for coaching. And it can also tell you more about where you might be at in the journey. It can orient exactly where you're at in your building of your business. It can ask you questions, prompt you so that you answer and respond. And then Google will also give you more information on my methodology and help you. In fact, this is one of the things that I developed in my system is a coaching bot. And essentially what I did is I created the ecosystem first. And I'll tell you more about the ecosystem in a minute. But what the ecosystem did is it fed into this AI chatbot. This is why I say I work with AI as well. And then now what I do is I go onto Google and I ask the AI questions about my business, questions about my methodology, questions about things that I'm already starting to build to see what it already knows. And then that informs me on what else I can create that will help people and answer questions. You see, information, and a lot of people don't know this, is going away as the commodity because AI has now made information free. It can pull everything. You don't have to search for it anymore. It just comes to you. The overview comes to you. And things like Notebook LM, which you can take a video and you can put that video into Notebook LM. And then what it will do is it will go through and create the transcript because it's Google. Google owns YouTube. And it will also take the summary because it's through Gemini. Now you can also just do this through YouTube videos and it's all the same. So you can take the summary. I told you to do this at the beginning, and you can ask questions about the video. And Notebook LM can also take multiple videos. So you could take multiple videos that I've put out for the Mamaprenista's Manifesto. And then what you can do is ask questions of all those videos and get the methodology. So information on its own is free. It's out there. What you put out there on the internet is now going to inform your client and help them recognize at some point they want to talk to you. They don't want to talk to a machine anymore. They want to talk to you. And the thing is that you are also doing other things. So the more that you can create the content that's going to inform the AI, that's going to help somebody get unstuck to the point where they feel they want to invest in you, the better. Because otherwise, what you're doing is the Mamaprenista treadmill. And that is a mess. Okay. So I've gone through it too. I went through the treadmill. I was on classes all the time, and I was also scheduling my content. I created batch content in advance, and I had those batch content days. But then what happened is I recognized all my time is spent on marketing, and I only have certain time blocks for clients. So I couldn't take on as many clients and I couldn't teach as many classes because I didn't have a predictable schedule. I only really had every other Saturday when my kids went with their dad. So the more that you can get these things figured out, the better off you're going to be. And don't worry, I'm going to get you off this treadmill, okay? You're not going to have to post and engage, and then something happens in your life, the chaos happens, kids get sick, you get sick, your partner doesn't do what they're supposed to do, they drop the ball, something breaks in your tech, like whatever it is, you disappear, you come back, you post again, you chase your leads, you're launching, and you're repeating the exhausting cycle. And I did that. I did things the way that you're supposed to do it. And I can tell you right now how exhausting it can be, because I once ran 4 launches in a year, and I was running them every 6 weeks. And at the end of them, I was so exhausted. It was hard for me to be able to show up for my clients. And what I really wanted to be able to do was to show up for my clients and show up for my kids and be able to rein it in with the actual launch. So eventually what I did is, with my first business, I had the Empowered Birth Workshop. And that used to be live. I used to teach it live and help moms through their problems. And now it's automatic. It's on my YouTube channel. People can go through it at their own pace. It comes with a whole bunch of PDF documents. They can go and download those as well. They just click on the link in the description and they can get it. And then that moves them further along in the actual process so that they're pre-sold and able to come into my community at a higher level. Because this is the one question that always came up for me when I was going through these launch cycles, when I was running the batch content, when I was doing all of the automated emails, when I was setting things up. What happens when you can't show up? There were times when my kids got sick at the most inconvenient of times, and I was running a launch, and I wasn't able to be there to take care of them. I was working, and I could have been able to actually show up for them instead of working. And there were times where I wouldn't be able to go to the field trip because I was working. And then there were times where I wasn't able to show up for my business because I was sick. And there was times when tech broke on me and I couldn't show up online. I had my Instagram account flagged because somebody had hacked into it, and I wasn't able to post for a while. And I had my Facebook account shut down on me, so I couldn't get into Facebook groups for about 5 days before they resolved it. You can't just rely on social media. You can't also just rely on batch content. You can't just rely on automation. The most important asset in your business is you. And you are also the most important asset for your family. When you can't show up, things can't fall apart. And this is part of my sovereign life design as well, where you need to be able to trust that other people can hold you when you need to rest. Because instead of exhausting yourself trying to do all of the things, you really need to be able to also have your rest. And rest was really important to me. And I wanted to be able to have my time back so I didn't burn out, because burning out is not an option. Okay. It's not an option. When you burn out, you actually affect your brain. So we don't want moms burning out. And the ambition that we have as Mamaprenistas can lead to burnout if we're not careful. So this is kind of the anti-burnout idea that I created. First of all, I'm going to tell you about the 5 sovereign freedoms, okay? So in order to have a sovereign business, you need to have these 5 keys, okay? Freedom of time. Build assets that continue working after you log off. I'll be getting to that deeper in ecosystem training. Freedom of attention. Stop making the algorithm the sole gateway to your business. There is another way. You don't need to chase the algorithm. You can't control what a platform is going to do, but you can control what you create. So when you are creating something, you want to be thinking ahead of time where this is going to go in the future. It's not just chasing the algorithm, it's building a content library that compounds. And I'll tell you more about that soon enough. You need freedom of location. You need to turn your knowledge into things that can travel without you. In other words, you want to be able to have things that are shareable. You want to have things that you can easily drop a link when you're in a downtime, or when you're on social media just for 5 minutes and you see somebody has a question in a comment and you have the perfect thing for them already, and you can just drop the link and say, there's the video that goes deeper into that. You want to be able to have freedom of identity. You want to become an authority without becoming an influencer. I only really share parts of my life that are relevant to what I'm talking about. And at the same time, I share a lot because that's just how I work. But you may want to have even more protection around your children, your family, your marriage situation, whatever it is. You are allowed to choose what you share and what you don't. You don't have to be on all the time. And finally, this is the last one. This is most important, is freedom of economic structure. Build something you own instead of relying exclusively on an employer. Because the thing is that you can't guarantee that your work is still going to be there tomorrow. Your employer could easily end up downsizing. Something can happen. There's a lot that is up in the air. I recognize that the idea of job security didn't actually exist. And when the pandemic hit, this is what really happened, is that a lot of moms who thought they had job security, they were the first to be let go. They were the first ones to get the pink slip. They were the first ones that when things opened up again, their job security went away and the flexibility went away. And I wanted to make sure that even if an employer changed their mind about me or changed my hours, that they wouldn't be able to control me. So having the sovereign business, even in tandem with working, so you don't have to quit your job, or you can go and get a job if you need to have extra income padding while you're building your business, or when you're restructuring your business. I'm not saying that you can't have a job too. You can absolutely have that. What I am saying is that when you want to have freedom, when you want to have sovereignty, you need to also recognize that you don't want to be part of any one system and beholden to any one system, because what happens when that system changes? What happens when it collapses? You need to be able to be completely free. And I teach a lot more about this with my Sovereign Life Design. I talk about this in No More Mommy Martyr, The Path to Sovereign Motherhood. And I talk about this on my social media. This is one of my key things, is to be able to have that freedom. And economic freedom is huge because you can also have that freedom to leave an abusive relationship. So you don't want to rely on any one employer telling you what you're worth. You don't want to have your business also being that economic structure like what your employer was. You want to have more freedom, and you want to be able to have your business evolve so that when you need more money, you can create a product or service that brings in that income. Okay? You should always be able to raise your prices. So the key isn't more marketing or to use AI. There's a place for AI, and I do teach about that in my programs. So if you're interested in that, you can always check that out. I do comment a lot about that on social media as well. So you can check my threads. That's the easiest way because I also have my replies in there. And, it's not that. The key is compounding the value of your digital assets over time. So what I did with my business and ecosystem, and what I'm going to tell you to do, is to build a self-sustaining ecosystem that works 24/7. You decide when to post new content. So when I built this, of course, it was in 2023. Google hadn't rolled out its AI feature yet, and I didn't recognize that because I was posting on YouTube, and because I was also posting on Threads and posting a lot, when Google unleashed the AI, it picked up all of my content and started showing it up in the chat. And then this is how I realized, oh, this is the new compounding system that I need to use. And that's why I say you decide when you post new content, because your content is going to be evergreen. It's going to be compounding. It's going to be, you build something 2 years before and you have your old trainings, but they're still relevant today. And then you can also build on those new trainings and update those new trainings and say, hey, I know I said this in the last video, but I've updated since then. And then it comes through, which brings me to the ecosystem in action. So you teach. Now, this can be either recorded, or what this can be is you can have it live and recorded. And when you're teaching live and you're recording it, you're then able to create a new video. You can also create a new transcript. You can create a blog post from that. You can create all the different things that are derived from that one teaching. You can do this faster with AI too. You can upload your video. You can say, here, this is the training. Now create an infographic on the video. I mean, there's a lot you can now do. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to index the content. That means that in the description of the video, you want to put certain codes. I call these the Alice codes. I mentioned this earlier, that I have Alice codes. And it's basically questions that people ask with your methodology and the name of your system, so that it's easily findable and indexable by the AI. The AI is the one that's reading it. The AI is the one that's finding it. It's not for your audience. It's for the AI. Your audience, who wants to actually find the code so that they can put it into Google, will be the ones that are like appreciating that code. But you can also use that code when you're in conversation with people, which leads to the connect piece. When you're on social media, you're not just posting into the void. You're posting intentionally. You're posting to build and compound the value. And you're also there to connect. You want to be connecting first. You want to be talking to people. The most valuable things you can be doing in your business as a Mamaprenista are to have your client hour and content hour. This is stuff that I was learning from Evan Pagan. He taught me client hour, content hour. You're either creating value that other people can consume, or you are talking to people to learn what they want you to create next and helping them and hopefully getting clients. Like, that's the goal here, is to get them to see your value, get them to see that you can go much deeper in a deep conversation because you can tailor it to their exact needs. And you also have the empathy because you're not a robot. With the AI chat feature, all they get is the AI robot that just constantly asks more questions until you sign off of the chat. So you want to have that connection. And I do this through my DMs. When people come to me and ask me questions, I'm like, hey, I already have a training on that. Here, go watch it. And if you have any questions, come back to me, because there's things that aren't in that video that I know that can inform me, oh, I need to create another video. And then it also allows me to be like, okay, this is something that people are really interested in. I'm going to create a training on that. So you never have to guess what to post. You're using your audience to help you understand where to go next. And then you compound that value. So you get the feedback from people who are like, this was really helpful, or I'm not quite sure how this fits into this. Can you explain? And then you explain it to them, and then they're like, oh, I got it. And then what this does is it shows them, hey, this is really helpful general advice, but if I really want the custom version, then I need to either buy the product or go into the program, learn the teaching, and they want to have a relationship with you. And that's the key, is that every good coach, the good coaches, are the ones who are building relationships with their clients. And the reason why a lot of clients come to me is because they want that relationship with me. They want me to be able to sit down with them once a week and hammer something out, or sit down with me once every 2 months or whatever they need, because some clients only come in every once in a while and they just buy the one-off sessions. And some clients decide they go for the whole package. I'm working with moms. So moms don't always have the same schedule. So I work with what they can give me, and I tell them what my availability is, and then we work something out. And I have different packages for that, which I'll tell you more about in a minute. But the ecosystem of attraction, as you can see, it's teach, create, index, connect, compound, convert, and then you reteach. You take what you're learning as you're coaching your clients, and you create new content on that, and you use the case stories to teach your content. If you want an example of this, all you need to do is go to my YouTube channel, which I have for my birth side. Go into the playlists and you'll see some of those videos already there, and check it out. Check out the channel. Notice how I'm converting while I'm teaching. Notice how I'm connecting stories and connecting to my audience while I'm teaching. Notice how the videos compound on each other. I have different topics that go deeper into certain topics. And notice how I create new things from the same video. That is essentially what you do. You take one form of content and you create multiple forms. And again, the AI makes this a lot easier now. There's lots of programs to do that. If you're not familiar with AI, you can always reach out to me and I will tell you some of the best programs. There is a program that I went through, which is called the AI Builder Bootcamp with Evan Pagan. And it is like there's just no words for what was taught in the class. I learned how to build a website. I learned how to build a presentation. I learned how to create my avatar documents. I learned how to create infographics. And it took seconds with the right prompt. And then once I understood the system and foundation of what Eben was teaching, because he also teaches the foundation, he doesn't just give you prompts. He actually tells you the psychology of that prompt and how to use that. Now I'm able to just create anything in minutes. Like I could take this entire presentation right now and I could create an infographic off of it and a carousel for Instagram and just so many things I could create out of just this presentation, just as it is now. I will also let you know that I can upgrade my presentations at any time. So that's the part with Compound, is that you upgrade because your methodology may upgrade in the future. You never know. And then a lot of things will also stay the same. You'll have a lot of foundations that stay the same. Now, I'm going to share a little bit about the mindful buyer's journey. Now, I've talked a little bit about the mindful buyer on my social media. Go and check out some of my videos. You can ask Google, what does Carly Bonderud have on the mindful buyer? And you'll probably get more of an overview of what is out there. If you would like a direct video, if you have a question about this, you can always reach out to me. That is the fastest way to get help, is to reach out to me. Trying to sift through all of my content, I am aware I have a lot of stuff. I talk a lot. I have a lot of density in my presentations, even when I try to make them short. So I know that it's a lot to digest. And if you need a map, I've got the map for you. You can use Google or you can talk to me. I'm faster than Google, because I can give you a code that you can use if you're really stuck and you just want to use the chat bot. I can also just send you a video. I can answer your question. I have no problem giving you information, because what I'm really looking forward to is seeing you actually do this and have a sovereign business. The more moms who have sovereign businesses after going through any of my content, the better off we'll be, because that's what moms need, is a sovereign business. Now, here I'm going to tell you a little bit about the mindful buyer's journey, as I said. And most of my clients are mindful buyers. I actually only work with mindful buyers because the mindful buyer is the ideal client. The mindful buyer is the one who does a lot of the things that are listed below. They discover the video, they read the article, they download something, they watch another training, they buy the book, and they reach out. Not only that, but once they actually reach out, when you send them something and say, go through this, they go through it. And they ask new questions. And then when you say, hey, if you would like to work with me, let's book a session. And they book the session. And when you show up for that session, they show up. They don't ghost you. They actually show up. And they pay attention when you're talking to them. And they answer your questions. And near the end, when you ask if they're ready to work with you, they say yes. Even if there's a little hesitation on the price, they want to work with you. They will make it happen. And then when they become a client and you're coaching them, you give them the support. And then what they do is, while you are away from them, because you can't be there at every second of the day, you're not available 24/7. You're only doing the classes or showing up for the coaching session. They come back to you and they've done the work and they've gone beyond and they've made an insight and they've taken an action and they have feedback to give you about what they did. So one of my clients, Dee Dee, how this started is I was at the beach and I was watching my kids play and I was enjoying my time. I had actually been just about to shut down my calendar. I hadn't shut it down yet, but I was going to shut down my calendar the next day and focus on the summer. I knew that the summer was coming. It was June, and I'm like, I'm not going to be taking any clients over the summer. It's too stressful. I tried to do it before. The kids just don't get it yet. I didn't have a babysitter to take care of them. So I'm like, you know what? I'll take a break. I'll take care of other forms of income, but I won't take on clients. And guess what happened? She booked a call for the next week. And then all of a sudden, I get a notification on Facebook saying that she had joined my Facebook group. And then I get another notification about 5 minutes later where she sends me a message on Facebook Messenger. And she says, I know you had that workshop on birth plan creation last month. Is it still possible to access it? And she was lucky because I had just turned that into a lead magnet and somebody could opt in and get the videos and they drip content into the feed and they'd be able to watch them over the course of 5 days. And I said, yep, I have that. Go through it. And here's the link to actually binge watch all of them instead of having to wait for the drip content. And I gave her the fast pass. Then I also gave her a PDF version of my book, Your Empowered Birth, which is now on Amazon, but it wasn't published yet when I gave it to her. And when I got on that call with her the next week, she had already gone through the birth plan mini challenge and she'd done all the work. She had also read half of the book. And she hadn't got to the exercises yet, but she'd read half the book. She did the work. And she was pre-sold on me. And the only thing we really had to do was get her partner on board because her partner was also on the call. When I do calls for my birth business, I like to have the partner on the call because they're the ones I'm actually training. It's easy to train the mom. The mom is usually great with the mindset stuff, but it's the partner who's the wild card. So I had the partner on the call, and he was the one that we basically needed to convince that I was the right person to hire instead of the doula that they were going to hire. And essentially what happened is they were one of my best clients. So you want to have the mindful buyers, and mindful buyers don't like the fake scarcity. You may even be the same way. You may be like, you know what? I don't trust the fake salesy scarcity tactics and the scare tactics. I don't trust any of that stuff. I want people to be real with me. Well, that's the thing. I like to be real with people, and I like people to be real with me. So if you're wanting to be real with me, I'm going to be real with you. And there's just one thing now, how to get started right now. Because the thing is that implementing the ecosystem of attraction, there's a lot of pieces with it. And I've taught them on social media. I've talked about them in Carly Bonderud Uncensored, which is my YouTube channel. I have more than one. And I've talked about it on Threads. I've talked about it on Instagram. I've talked about it on LinkedIn. There are pieces to the ecosystem. I have other trainings on the ecosystem if you're interested in seeing some demos. But the thing is that to create the ecosystem, it takes some work, okay? So the thing is that to build the ecosystem itself, you have to have a solid testable offer that creates results for your ideal clients. If you don't have a solid testable offer that creates results for your ideal clients, you're not ready for the ecosystem because you can't inform your content to make it high conversion content. You can't create your offers without having had some tests with your clients. There's some easier ways of doing this, but it just makes it so much easier to build something after you've had actual results. So even if you're coaching for free, even if you're helping people for free, you need to be tracking those results that they're getting and starting to document them. The other thing is you're turned off by competitive hustle culture, but you can't figure out how to grow your business and brand ethically. Look, this is one of the problems that I had when I was building my business at the start in 2020. And I was fortunate enough that I found my mentor. I had gone on a lot of different webinars and I was trying to find the right one. I saw the pattern with the hustle culture, and I didn't want it because I already knew that that was going to burn me out. So instead, I found my mentors, and you can learn more about them too if you go and Google me and Google and ask about Eben Pagan and Annie Lala. They're one of the best teachers that I could ever have asked for. They let me get into a lot of programs that I otherwise wouldn't have been able to afford at all. I was actually given a scholarship because I was such a star student. And I've implemented everything that they've taught me. They also teach programs on how to sell without being salesy. So if you're interested in that and you want to learn from my teachers, there is a path for that as well. Just DM me. The other thing is you want to be able to attract people to you, not have to chase after them. If you're constantly on social media hunting for clients, then this is going to be such a relief for you. Because rather than having to come in and pitch people right away, you can instead be the helpful person who has extra things for them to watch, to read, to basically learn more about you. And then other people will naturally say, hey, can I have that thing too? And then if you drop links, if you're allowed to drop links, then people will naturally find the links. Like Dee Dee found my YouTube channel and I wasn't even talking directly to her. She must have been in one of the Facebook groups that I was in. And she just naturally found my videos. And then she binge watched the content. And then she reached out and said, I want to work with you. I want to be on the call with you. I want to actually figure this out. And she did. So I want that for you with your clients. I want you to be able to be on the beach and hanging out with your kids and to have that message come into your inbox. I want you to be able to have your ideal clients reach out to you so that you don't have to chase after them. I want you to be able to put a little thing in the chat for them to go and read while you're having time with your kids, and just have that peace of mind knowing that they're absorbing your methodology before they even get on a call with you, so that when you actually have that call, they're pre-sold. I don't want you to have to waste your time with people that aren't aligned and aren't meant to be in your community. I want you to have the right people. And that's the thing, is that if this is for you, my community is for you, if you have a community mindset, that you love to support others and you aren't sure to do it effectively so you can grow and attract abundance too. If that's you, if you really want to communicate and have that community and share and support, but you're not sure how to do it, then learn from me and I'm happy to show you how to do it. Because what I really focus on is community. I follow Mamaprenistas that are also following me. And I also look at the content that they're creating and I give them feedback on it and support them. And maybe you are even one of those Mamaprenistas. Maybe you found me and I found you and I've been commenting on your stuff and supporting you. That is how I really work. I believe in that. I feel that if we're commenting on each other's stuff as Mamaprenistas, that helps boost the algorithm so that our stuff gets seen by more people. It's part of organic marketing. So that leads to the 3 paths. Okay. I have 3 paths for working with me and for getting results in whatever you're trying to work for. I have my Sovereign Life Design, which is my birth business and personal transformation. And I have my different channels for it. So I don't just teach about business and entrepreneurship. I also teach about birth. I teach about motherhood. I teach about lifestyle and personal development. And if you really follow what I'm teaching you across my channels and just watch me in action, watch other people that I follow and I'm commenting on, watch them in action, follow the content on social media, comment, share, do your part to amplify the messages. The more you do this, the more you're going to be visible. And if you're visible, then you can have your questions answered and it'll inform what is created next. So watch for new masterclasses and trainings, implement, and you'll get results. The next path is self-study. Now, this can be paid or it can be free, okay? With the way that AI is going, where information is just a dime a dozen, it's just free to access. I don't really sell my courses as just information. I sell my courses as information plus support. So that means that with every course, you also get a coaching call with me, but you can also just get the program for free and skip the actual help. That is an option in some of my self-study programs. Some of them are very dense and do require the hand holding. So that's why I have the self-study path broken up into 2. One is self-study and the other is self-study VIP. Self-study VIP you pay for, self-study, it's usually on YouTube and you can just watch it. I put them in playlists for you in the courses section. So you watch our step-by-step programs and as we build them across our branding channels, and dive into the ones you feel called and invest in coaching support as needed for individual sessions. There is an option to just get some laser coaching and it's $97. And I basically put it at that price point so that it would be easily accessible. As inflation happens, $97 will still be that price point because I just want to get you in the door. I just want to make sure that you have what you need. If there's something that you need to actually talk to a human, you deserve to be able to talk to a human. The other thing is that it's an example for what you can do in your own business. You don't have to give all of your time and energy for free in free sessions just to get somebody in the door. You can start asking for the money up front, and then the right people will invest. And those are the ones who are willing to invest more with you. You can use your coaching bot that you already created through your content and through what Gemini is doing, and you can have that as the free version of your coaching. You have so much value in what you're doing. And I want to make sure that you are actually getting what you deserve. You deserve to be paid. And so if you want that, if you want to know more about the self-study paths, the programs that I'm creating, or you have an idea of a program based on what I've already been teaching, then DM me on social media or email for details on which course or program is right for your level. Because as I said, there's some programs that you can go through nice and easy, like that birth plan mini challenge that I just sent Dee Dee, and then I gave her my book. Like, that's just what I do. But if she had been around when Your Empowered Birth Academy first came out, I would have said, that one is a lot more dense and you might want to actually pay for a session of coaching instead of just booking the call for the discovery call, actually being coached through the program. And again, I priced that one at, it was originally $997 when I started as a live program. And then I lowered that price to $297 when it just became recordings. And now there's the option of either going through it free or doing self-study VIP. So if you're in the birth space right now, if you're currently pregnant and you want to have more control in your birth and you like the empowered birth side of my business, then that course is also available for you. So I just wanted to let you know that as an example, so you understand the self-study and self-study VIP path. I usually use examples from my birth business because that was the first one I built. And that's the one that is the most dense with my ecosystem. Empowered Mom Magic trainings and Mamaprenista Manifesto is more like new right now as of recording this video. So I'm building the content now for that. And it will eventually be just like the first business I built. But I like to draw the examples from my birth business. And that leads right into the final path, which is premium coaching. Our coaching containers are deliberately capped at small number of applicants. We are intentional about who we bring in because we want everyone playing full out, okay? I'm saying this not just as myself, but also the women that I have helped create the ecosystem, and for you as well. If you are offering premium coaching services, if you're offering coaching, then you need to know that the more that you raise your prices, the better you're going to be nourished. You don't want to be giving away your coaching. You don't want to be giving it away for free. You want to be having it so that the people who come in are investing in themselves and they're more likely to play full out. And then to justify the price, you can also feel good about it because you're going to give at least 10 times the value invested. And that's my promise is I give 10 times the value invested in my coaching, whether it's the live classes or it's an actual group coaching container or whether I have one-on-one sessions. I don't do a lot of one-on-one sessions because they do take up my time. But if you want to do one-on-one, there is a path for that. And again, DM or email for inquiry. That is the fastest path. I know that a lot of people use that in like the MLMs and the boss babe culture and the hustle culture. And then they set an automated chat bot that sells you something you didn't actually ask for. I don't do that. Okay. I deliberately make sure that you're talking to a human. I want you to be able to have that human contact. It's even more important with AI to be able to have that human contact. So I am a human and I am talking to you and I am sharing with you. And it may take a little longer to get me right away, but you're going to get me and you're going to get an answer from me and you're going to get support. Okay? You're going to get support. And if you want to be a client, you want my premium coaching, I promise that I will take care of you and we will find a schedule that works for both of us. And we will find a price that works for both of us. And it depends on how long you want to work with me. That's how it works. It's how long do you want to work with me? How intensely do you want to work with me? Do you want me to hold your hand the whole time? Or do you want to be able to have more freedom and just do things on your own and show up maybe once a week for 15 minutes and just get it done? Because I'm here to support you. I'm here to make sure that you get the results because you deserve it. I'm tired of moms not getting what they need. And that's why I've created the Mamaprenistas Manifesto. So my final thoughts on this are that I don't believe mothers need another business model that asks them to sacrifice themselves in order to succeed. We already have enough systems that teach women to give everything away. I want to teach women to build businesses that accumulated knowledge, accumulated content, accumulated trust, accumulated intellectual property, accumulated relationships, accumulated authority. Because the goal isn't to become more available to your business. The goal is to make your business increasingly capable of serving you. Everything within the Sovereign Life Design and Mamaprenista Manifesto, and everything within my entire Empowering Moms suite of courses comes down to one thing: creating sovereignty, allowing you to be able to trust yourself, allowing you to have the world serve you instead of you constantly trying to struggle in some way. To be able to create those boundaries so that you can protect your time and energy for what matters most, which I know you want to be there for your kids. You want that flexibility. Well, what I do with the ecosystem of attraction is building that flexibility. It's not my only product. It's not my only service. I have other things as well. So if any of my content ever speaks to you in a way that you're like, I want that, and I don't have a clear offer yet, or the offer isn't aligned, that doesn't mean that the door is closed. You can always come into my DMs and ask me a question. And if I have something already created, I'll give it to you. And if I don't have something already created, that gives me an idea of what people want me to teach next. And then that's when I'll open up classes, first live and then recorded. And that's when I'll also create my programs. That's when I'll create my coaching around it. Like, that's data for me. So your questions are important. Your questions prompt me to know what to create next, or what I already have in my library that I can give you. So please, if you have a question and it's not answered in this video, and you can't seem to find it on social media, and you can't seem to find it in any of my other videos that I have, and you've binge watched through a lot, and you still can't find it, and you really want to know, you can reach out to me and I'll answer you. Okay? Reach out to me. I'm here to guide you. Whether you're birthing a business, birthing a baby, birthing a creative project or a movement or a new version of yourself, let Empowering Moms be your guide. So thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this video, please like, share, subscribe, pay it forward, pass it on. A drop in the ocean creates ripples. Many ripples create waves, and enough waves can change the tide. And here at Empowering Moms, I'm all about changing the tide. So happy creating, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.